It ended a long time ago. But churches held on to it. They tried to keep it going. And that's what I want to get at. Is that the reason they tried to keep it going was that this is what it looked like. It looked like, that could be my family. That's my father, that's my mother, that's me, and that's my younger sister. That could be us. Or this from Peter Spear's book on Christmas. That we all went to church on Sunday, and then on Christmas Eve we all got together and we filled the pews to overflowing, and then we stood around outside afterwards, and it was just one grand experience after another. And that's what it was like for a period of about 20 years. And then it ceased. It stopped. But because it was so good, we have kept hoping that it would come back. A Presbyterian pastor down in Georgia said to me recently, the world changed and we did not change. And the reason we did not change is not that we're stupid or faithless or anti-modern. It was just so easy to be a successful church in the 50s. All you had to do was open on Sunday morning and you had enough. You could pay your bills, you had a sense of making a difference, clergy had something to do, lay leaders had something to do. It was easy and it was fun. It's not been easy since the mid-60s. And once we realized that it was no longer easy, it has not been fun. And there have been studies done of church leaders, and you talk about gloom, anger, depression, a sense of betrayal, story after story after story. Here is my way of explaining the dilemma. If you're in sales, you know that there are three elements to sales. One is customer recruitment, one is customer retention, and one is customer satisfaction. The religious counterpart of that is recruitment of new members, retention of existing members, and transformation of lives. Our strategies for recruitment have been to open the doors and invite people to come to worship. That has not worked in at least 20 years. In terms of the sort of the normal psychology of church participation, attending worship is way down the line. If you're a young adult, you may attend worship someday, but what the mega churches have figured out is you might never attend worship, but you might join a small group. You might join a mission activity. You might engage with the congregation in another way, but you might never get to the Sunday service. In fact, Rick Warren has said, Sunday is for tourists. He says Sunday is for tourists. Wednesday is our time. Because on Wednesday night they gather for prayer, for singing, for classes, for fellowship, for a meal. That's when they're actually nurturing their faith community. The first step, and now we're beginning to focus on social media. The first step in the marketing world would be called lead generation. And I want to use that term. You can find all this on my website, morningwalkmedia.com, in the church wellness section. Lead generation understands that you don't walk into a room and have a pile of product and expect to sell product. It just isn't that easy. You know, unless you're selling hot dogs at a baseball. It just isn't that easy. First you have to cultivate leads. And this is what Twitter and Facebook are about. And if you look at how those are being used, they're no longer people talking about their cats. And there's still some of that. But basically they are a lead generation tool. A lead is just that. It's not a customer. It's not a visitor. It's not someone who has called you. It's not a member. They're not buying your product. A lead is someone who has agreed to receive a free mailing or left a business card at a booth or signed up for a raffle at a street fair. They have agreed to receive something from you. They have agreed to let you contact them. And you can't contact them any other way. They have to agree to it or it's spam. That's why you can't just buy a list. I've had churches say, well, how do we build our email list? And the answer is one name at a time. I mean, I tried to model good behavior by, I put my business card at all your places, so you have my email address. And I've been asking people for their business cards. And when you came in, you were asked to give me your email address. That's the sort of thing that you need to help congregations do. To churn, or to harvest leads. You don't assume that they are interested in your denomination as such. You don't assume that they are wondering what you're doing on Sunday morning. You don't assume that they care at all about your doctrine. But you can assume that if they're young parents, they care about the local schools. And they care about what kind of world their child is coming into. Or if they're newly retired and have relocated, they're interested in meeting other people who are newly retired and relocated. If they're asking any questions at all, they are questions about themselves. They're not questions about you. See, that is a perceptual reality that most congregations have yet to figure out. They believe that people are curious about who they are. And they really are not. They just are not. People do not wake up on Sunday morning and say, well, where should we go to church today? Well, I heard about a wonderful Presbyterian church down on Main Street. Let's go to the Presbyterian church today. That conversation just doesn't happen.